Hey everyone, welcome to the NRL Round 23 investor.bet try scorer preview and betting tips video for this weekend's games. We have a total of 12 bets across 7 games this weekend. In this video, I'm going to go through each one and go through why I think that player is going to score a try. And we're using the bet finder tools to do that, which I'll run through in a second. Last week we had 10 plays, we hit 6 of them. Only missing the 4 of that we missed. 3 of them came in the Dragons Melbourne Storm game. So unfortunately, that was a little bit of costly. It ended up being a very, very low scoring game in comparison, but did hit the majority of other plays outside of that game. When it comes to analyzing these games and determining, which players should we bet on or not bet on to score a try, there's 3 main tools that I use. Firstly, as part of the bet finders, it's the try scorer matchups. So here we're looking at where teams score their tries. So for the Rabbitohs, this section here shows where they score their tries and where that ranks in terms of the league. So they score the 3rd most tries through fullback, 8th most tries through the right wing, 15th most through the right center. Effectively, we're looking for green numbers in this column for the Rabbitohs and green numbers for the Storm in this column, as that's going to show us where their strengths are in attack, where they score the majority of their tries. Then we want to match that up with weaknesses in defense. So for this game, Rabbitohs taking on the Storm, this column represents where the Melbourne Storm concede their tries. So any sections that are green, they're good defensively against that position. Any that are red, they're poor defensively against that position in terms of comparison against the league in general. Find good situations, we're looking for green numbers in this column and red numbers in this column. And the bigger the comparisons, obviously if we had a number 1 here and a number 17 here, then that's a really good situation. And I think less than that gets less and less, obviously. And so this is one of the first things I go through and look at. Then we match this up. So when we find a good situation, we go through and go look at who'll be playing that position for that team using the team lineups. Then we come over to the try scorer trends to see when or how that player has been performing. So say we're looking at the Melbourne Storm, Ryan Papenhuyzen. We can see this is his record overall in the season, every game, how many tries he scored, whether he played or not, or did not score a try. Then we can see his average tries and how many games he scores at least 1 try, which is 62%, at least 2 tries, 15%. Now we can decide, okay, well, is that player in form? And we're comparing their recent form against the opposition that they'll be facing. If it's a good situation, then we can look at the odds and determine if it's worthwhile making that bet. And aside from these things that we're looking at, we're also using our just general analysis using the matchups, whether we think it's going to be a high scoring or low scoring game, because I kind of like to avoid low scoring games when backing try scorers and, focus on the games that are more expected to be high scoring games, more potential, we're going to hit the try scorers. And that's basically a quick rundown on how we're going through and doing this analysis process, which I'm going to show you right now for these games. But I want you guys to know, and if you've been watching the other videos, then you already kind of understand it. But I want you guys to know that when it comes to choosing the bets, I'm not somebody who just goes based on my opinion or guesses or anything like that. It's based on stats, and for every single bet that I'm putting on over the past 12 years, I'm all about having research and information to actually back up the decision to put that bet on. So hopefully that comes across in these videos. So first game of the round, Rabbitohs take on the Melbourne Storm. This is on Thursday night. For this matchup, where the Rabbitohs are strong, the Melbourne Storm are also strong defensively. So fullback, in the halves, and the front row are all strong defensive positions for the Melbourne Storm. And where the Rabbitohs tend to struggle a little bit, that's also where the Melbourne Storm struggle a little bit defensively as well. So based on that, there's no real good situations for the Rabbitohs, and they are 15-point underdogs, so not really an ideal team to be backing try scorers in any way. But with the Melbourne Storm, there are 2 situations that I do really like. Firstly, at fullback, they're the number 3rd ranked side, and the Rabbitohs concede the 9th most tries to fullback. So Ryan Papenhuyzen, as we mentioned just before, plays fullback for the Melbourne Storm. Since returning from injury during the mid part of the season, he has scored 3 tries across 5 games and has scored a try in 62% of games overall this season. So I'm happy to back him here with the Storm as big favorites. He also has a very, very good record against the Rabbitohs, scoring a try in 3 of his past 5 games against them. And with PointsBet, he's paying $1.65 to score a try. So he'll be the first play of the 12. And then there's one more in this matchup that I really like, and it's at the left wing for the Melbourne Storm. If you notice here, how I kind of like to compare these is comparing right edge and left edge defensively. And we notice that the Rabbitohs are slightly better right edge defense, but they're one of the worst left edge defenses in the league. Melbourne Storm should target a lot of their play towards that left edge, which on playing left wing for the Melbourne Storm is Grant Anderson. And bring up his record. Obviously missed the majority first round 9s of the season, but over the past 4 games has scored 5 tries and scored a try in each of those 4 games. And so we're also going to be taking him to score a try in this game. And with Neds, he's paying $1.55 to score. So those are the 2 plays in the Rabbitohs Storm game. Anderson and Pappenhausen both to score. On to the Friday night games. Titans take on the Sharks. For this matchup, there really isn't that many good situations. If you go and look at the odds for the try scorers, you'll notice Cam Pereira, the left wing for the Gold Coast Titans, is paying $1.33 to score a try. Now, Gold Coast scored the most tries through that position, but the Sharks are the second best defensive side to that position. So that doesn't mean well, he's not going to score a try then just because the Sharks are good at defending that position. However, what it does mean, it's not really an ideal situation. Over the past few weeks, we've been getting, $1.45, $1.55, kind of in that range, up to $1.60 for Cam Pereira to score against some of the worst teams at defending this position. Now we're being asked to take, half that price going against a top 2 side at defending that position. It's a really, really poor betting proposition. And I know a lot of people, are going to go on and see, well, he scored a try in each of his past 4 games, total of 6 tries as well. He's in really, really good form. And, well, I'm just going to back him anyway. Add him into multis. It's an extra $1.30. It'll build up the price. But even though he might score a try, I want you guys to really think about what price you're willing to take for somebody in this situation, even though he's in good form, but it's not a great matchup for him when you can find other opportunities, and there'll be better opportunities throughout the season. Obviously, we're near the end, but there's always better opportunities throughout the season than taking such a low price just because somebody is in that kind of form. With the rest of the Titans, they're different situations. The Sharks are pretty good defensively. The only area the Sharks are poor defensively is at left center, and that's where Titans do struggle to score tries through that position. Can't really identify any good situations here for the Titans, so I'm not gonna, force a play on them. This is also a little bit of a tricky game with the halves out for the Sharks. But there is a way that I've figured out that I want to play this is you'll look at this and you'll see Sharks fullback ranked 16th in the league. And, it's not really an ideal situation, but Will Kennedy plays fullback for the Sharks. And he's a very integral part of their attacking lineup. And with the situation for the Sharks this week, I think he's going to have to contribute a lot more in attack and be playing a lot more in the attacking line and getting way more involved than he generally has had to have been throughout this season. He's only scored 4 tries overall on the season. However, last year he did score 14 tries. So if we bring him up down here, highlight his row. He's only scored the 4 tries, hasn't scored in his past 4 games, scored a few tries during the mid part of the season. However, I think if he is going to cross the line, this is going to be a game where he can do it just because of the fact he's going to have to be more involved. And for him to score a try, we're getting $2.80 at Neds or at Ladbrokes. They're pretty much the same price for everything. And he's going to be the try scorer selection that I have for this game. Even though he hasn't been scoring well in the season, the Titans concede the most tries to this position. So it's a good spot and a good opportunity for him, and add in the fact that he's going to have to be more involved in the attack for the Sharks to win this game. I think he's a good chance of crossing for a try. Also, I should mention as well, while we talk about this player, because it is paying 280, with these selections, how I recommend you staking the bets is on the players that are the shorter odds, putting slightly more on those, and the players that are at longer odds, putting slightly less. And pretty much following a rule of thumb where you're backing each player to win the same amount if they score a try. If you do that, then that's going to lead to the ultimate long-term consistent profit by doing this, as opposed to just, level staking or, putting random stakes on whatever kind of sounds good or whatever you have in your account. That's like the complete wrong way of going about it. But for the Titans Sharks, Will Kennedy is the play, and for him to cross for a try. The other good situation for the Sharks is in the front row, ranked second, and the Titans ranked 15th defensively in that position. However, there's not really any key Sharks front rowers that I'm excited about scoring a try in this game, and they also have a little bit of change there with Brayley playing in the halves this week. Onto the later game, Eels versus Penrith. For Parramatta, they're coming off that win last week, but things don't really get any easier for them. The only area where Penrith struggled defensively is the left wing. However, the Eels, their better side is the right side, and they don't put a lot of attack through their left edge. And so it doesn't really set up well for them whatsoever. And out of all the other positions, none of them set up really well. So staying away from the Eels, kind of similar to the Rabbitohs. They're big underdogs. We don't really want to, force or try really hard to find a bet. For the Panthers, there's, quite a number of good situations here, and you kind of have a lot to choose from. With that in mind, though, what I want to do is focus on the left edge for the Panthers. This is where the Eels are the worst left edge defense in the league, both at center and on the wing. On the right edge, they're still pretty bad, not quite as bad overall. So from this perspective, we're going to go for the left wing for the Penrith Panthers. And for the left wing, we bring up the lineups. Taruva plays left wing for the Panthers. Obviously, you'll see him listed as number 2, which indicates it's right wing. However, Penrith play Tato and Taruva on the opposite sides. There are a few teams that do that. I'm not 100% sure on the reason why. Just it is what it is. So Taruva to score a try. So if we look at his recent record, he had a really strong start to the season. Bit of a lean patch during the mid part, scored a try a few weeks ago. Has scored 12 tries in the season and scored a try in 41% of games this year. But against the Eels, which are the worst left edge defense, he's going to get plenty of opportunities to score in this game. And on Sportsbet, he's paying $1.55 to score a try. And that's the only real play I want to go with in this game. Taruva also did score 2 tries in the matchup earlier this season against Parramatta. So I think the Panthers' game plan is going to be attacking down that side again, and they should see success by doing so. On to Saturday, Canberra take on the Manly Seagulls. There's 2 plays I have for this game. Firstly, for the Raiders, there's 2 situations that I did like the look of. Firstly, probably one of the better situations in the second row. They scored the 3rd most tries, and the Seagulls concede the 12th most through that position. Hudson Young is the key player, because if you look at the front row for the Canberra Raiders, he's realistically the only major try scorer, and does actually has scored 9 tries overall on the season for Canberra through that position. However, he has only scored tries in 1 of his past 6 starts. Does get a good opportunity. Most books are holding him around the 240 to 250 mark, which I think is just slightly short, but honestly wouldn't be surprised if he does score a try. The play that I do want to target, though, for the Raiders is on the right wing. They're ranked 8th in that position. However, the Seagulls concede the 14th most tries. It's their worst position defensively. And I think the Raiders should be able to score a try through this position. So playing right wing for the Raiders, they're another one of these sides that play the wingers on the opposite side. So Xavier Savage to score a try. Started the season really, really well, scoring a try in 5 of his first 7 games and has scored a try in 2 of his past 3. And overall on the season has been fairly consistent, scoring a try in 53% of games. So when I was looking at this play, I'm looking for around the $2 mark for him to score a try. And Neds are paying $1.94 for Savage to cross for a try against the Seagulls. So he's going to be the first play in this game. And then the second play going across to the Sea Eagles. You'll notice Manly scored the most tries in the league through right center and the second most through left center. And these are also really poor positions for the Raiders defensively. If you look at centers overall, Seagulls are ranked 2nd overall and the Raiders are ranked 16th defensively overall through that position. For this situation, for the Seagulls, we have Tommy Talau and Ruben Garrick. Bring up their overall records so far this season. Tommy Talau scored a try in his past 3 games, has scored 14 on the season and a try in 59% of matches. And then Ruben Garrick, slightly further down, had a really solid start to the season, has been, a little bit out of form of recent times, still scoring try in 35% of matches overall on the season. With Sportsbet, we're able to get $1.62 for either of those 2 players to score a try. So you want to go to the combo try score bets, player A or player B to score a try, paying $1.62. Those are the 2 plays for the Seagulls Canberra Raiders game. Next game on Saturday, the Cowboys at home to the Broncos. Both these sides have been involved in high-scoring games recently, and their head-to-head matches recently have been really high-scoring. Hopefully that continues because I have 3 plays for this matchup. Firstly, for the Cowboys, you'll notice here their right edge is the best in the league, and this goes up against the worst right edge defense in the Broncos in the league. So an ideal situation here for the Cowboys right edge to cross for a number of tries. Based off of this, I really want to target the right wing. Bring up Carl Felt overall on the season, has scored 15 tries and a try in 58% of matches. On TAB, he's paying $1.65 to score a try. So he's the first play in this matchup. Next position for the Cowboys, we're going down to the second row. They're the number 1 team in the league for tries through the second row. Broncos concede the 14th most tries through second row. The Cowboys' second row, made up of Lukey Nanai and Ruben Cotter, are returning for this game. But Jeremiah Nanai is the one I want to target for this situation. Overall this season, he scored 12 tries and scored a try in 50% of games, which based off of that, if you're getting above $2, then it's a really, really strong bet. He has also scored 6 tries in his past 4 games against the North Queensland Cowboys. So also on the TAB, Nanai to score a try, paying $2.30 as the second play for the Cowboys. Over on the Broncos side of things, want to go with the fullback position, as that's really the only one where Broncos have been scoring their tries, ranked 2nd in the league, and the Cowboys ranked 13th defensively. It's a positive situation here for the Broncos at fullback. Reece Walsh playing fullback. He scored the 2nd most tries for the Broncos this year at 14, has scored a try in his past 4 games, and scores a try in 77% of matches overall this season. For Walsh to score a try on Neds, they're paying $2 for him to score a try. He has also scored a try in his past 2 games against the Cowboys. So looks like a really good situation for Walsh to cross. So there'll be the 3 plays in that game. And I'll recap all the bets at the end. However, this is the last. We've got 2 more betting games, sorry. Dragons versus Bulldogs, the late game on Saturday night. For the Dragons, the best situation here is in the second row. They're ranked 4th in the league compared to 15th Bulldogs defensively. There's only a couple of positions where Bulldogs aren't, a top defensive side, and that's it. Right center, second row, and interchange. For the most part, I stay away from interchange try score bets. Just, wherever minutes are limited too much, then it's not really positive to be making too many try score bets to that position. But we'll definitely target the second row here for the Dragons. Bring up the lineups. Leilua, Sua, and Eisenhuth for the Dragons' second row. And the player that I want to target is Jaden Sewer. So far this season, he has scored 8 tries and scored a try in 41% of games, scored 4 tries across his past 3 matches and scored in each of them. Really like the fact of that try scoring form he's in, but he's not going to be the only play in this game. We jump back out, going over to the Bulldogs. For the Bulldogs, they score the second most tries through left center. So Bronson Cherry plays left center. Dragons not that strong defensively. On the edges, this is their worst defensive position. And so for the Bulldogs, Bronson Cherry, so far this season, has scored 6 tries, scored 3 tries across his past 4 games, and scores a try in 43% of matches. Also, Bronson Cherry has scored 4 tries in his past 3 games against the Dragons, which means he also has a good record playing against them. So how I'm going to play this is on Sportsbet. Either Bronson Cherry or Jaden Sewer to score a try. Only need one of them to cross $1.80 on Sportsbet. That's going to be the only play in that game. You could play them individually. Sewer's paying around the $3 mark to score a try. Bronson Cherry is paying around the $2.50 mark to score a try. But I feel like this potentially could be a slightly lower scoring game. And if it is, then I'd rather not have 2 plays in it. And these are the 2 players that I identified as the most likely try scorers. Then on to the following game, Dolphins versus Warriors. 2 plays in this game, both of them on the Dolphins. Firstly, at fullback, Dolphins are the number 1 team through tries through fullback. Warriors concede the second most tries through that position. Obviously, everybody knows Hamso Tabuai-Fidow plays fullback for the Dolphins. Overall, this season, he scored 12 tries so far, scores a try in 73% of games, averaging just over a try per game overall on the season. With Tabuai-Fidow, with a 73% try score rate, pretty much we're just analyzing what price we're kind of willing to take for him. And, if you shop around, the prices range from, $1.40 up to $1.70. So with TAB, he's paying $1.70 to score a try. So he's going to be the first play in this game. And then the other position I want to target is the Warriors' right edge defense is slightly better than the left edge defense, which is one of the bottom 4 in the league. And left wing, Dolphins score the second most tries through Jack Bostock, bringing up his record overall in the season. He's the number 1 try scorer for the Dolphins, scored 3 tries across his past 4 games, and has scored a try in one of his 2 games against the Warriors. Overall this season, scores a try in 61% of matches and paying $1.65 with TAB to score a try. So those are the 2 plays. There's no real, majorly good situations for the Warriors. You'll notice the majority of their tries come through the front row and halves. Front row, we picked our spots occasionally with them throughout the season, with Adam Fanua-Blake and Mitch Barnett crossing. Obviously, Fanua-Blake has scored a number of tries for the Warriors. Currently sits with 8 tries overall. Has scored twice in his past 3. So, is potentially like a play you could look at targeting. But he's only paying $2.70 for a front rower to score a try. So, hardly a good price. A few weeks ago back here, he was paying around the $4 to $5 mark to score a try. So, the price has dropped off significantly, and which you got to be slightly cautious of as well. And that's why it's important to consistently do this every single week. And the final game of the round, the Knights versus Tigers. I did say there was one game that I wasn't really keen on betting into. This was that game. For the Knights, everywhere they are poor, the Tigers are also poor defensively, and by chance where they are better in attack, mainly just left center, that's where the Tigers, their best defensive position is. And for the Tigers, you could potentially look at left center. You would expect a majority of their attack to go towards the left edge, as the Knights' right edge defense is significantly better than the left edge defense. However, their try scorers are very inconsistent for the Tigers, and this is just a game where I look at and just don't really want to be all that involved. So I'm going to stay out of that game. So I'll quickly recap all the selections right here at the end of the video, and we'll just go through across the 4 different betting companies. So firstly, on Sportsbet, Sania Truva to score a try, Ruben Garrick or Tommy Talau to score for the Manly Seagulls. In the Dragons Bulldogs game, we're taking Bronson Cherry or Jaden Sewer to score a try. Then on Neds or Ladbrokes, Melbourne, Grant Anderson, $1.55. Sharks, Will Kennedy, $2.80. Xavier Savage for the Raiders at $1.94, and for the Broncos, Reece Walsh at even money. On TAB, Jeremiah Nanai for the Cowboys at $2.30. Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow for the Dolphins at $1.70, and Jack Bostock for the Dolphins at $1.65. And then on PointsBet for the Melbourne Storm, Ryan Pappenhausen at $1.65. Those are all 12 bets for the upcoming round. If you're following along, good luck. Hope you guys have a great weekend. If you want to use these tools for your own research process and not, wait until, Thursday or Friday when I post this video every single week, and you want to use the other tools as well to help with your research process and find really good bets on the NRL, I'll put the link to all these tools and the bet finders in the description. That's where you can also get all my exact bets every week on the NRL and all the other sports. So definitely check that out so you can follow along. But most importantly, make sure every bet you're putting on is well researched, because if you actually want to make money, that's one of the first steps that you need to do. Have a great weekend, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, as I'll be posting these videos every single week.